point, which is that, well, for me anyway, I'm looking forward to testnet v3 this week or next week. Very much looking forward to that. That's important. We don't want to see that run on further, or we could start to see concern. But as I say, you don't have to be a technical expert to understand. You don't have to be a coder or a programmer to see that he's almost there with preparations for testnet v3 public. And but in terms of how long testnet v3 public actually runs for, I don't know if I'm a lone voice here. What do people think? But I think the longer the better, because as I've mentioned, what's going to happen now is that the price of HEX is going to go up a lot as people realize it's the only way to get into Pulse Chain at this stage in the game. It's the only way is to buy HEX. The only way to be in on the ratio trading period is to buy HEX. So the price of HEX will go up. Investors will notice the price of HEX and they immediately look for the narrative. They will find the narrative. The narrative is Pulse Chain. So they will buy. So the price of HEX will go up. As the price of HEX goes up, more investors will notice the price of HEX has gone up. They will look for the narrative. The narrative is Pulse Chain. The narrative is Richard Hart's just gone on BitBoy. Richard Hart's just gone on Ivan on Tech. So they will buy. So the price of HEX will go up. So more investors will notice the price of HEX goes up. Forgive me for repeating myself, but it's delicious, isn't it? So very unusually, I just see this as a continuous virtuous circle of gains, like an upward spiral of price gains. And almost like the longer testnet v3 goes on, within reason, presumably, what do people think? So long as there's some as long as we're getting some feedback from the developers and Richard Hart in the same way as he is doing these days, which is fantastic. And obviously, we just reached a trigger point, didn't we? It's funny how it works. Sentiment was really poor, and the sentiment was, "Wake me up when we get Pulse Chain." Look, you know, we've heard all this before, etc. But when he actually broke it down, we could see the progress with getting all the client compatibility and things, and how it was pretty much all done and things. I think people were like, okay, this is definitely it. And backed up along the timescale, he did give us a couple of weeks ago, which was 3 weeks. And he's just been ladling on more and more positive reports, both in a sort of in a verbal, oral way, but also in terms of actually proof of the pudding with screenshots around just how far they are progressing, just how little there is left to do.